A couple weeks ago, I posted a video called You Need to Get Comfortable Making Others Uncomfortable. Now, if you haven't watched that video, I strongly recommend that you do so that this video that you're about to watch makes more sense. You can find it in the description down below. But basically, in that video, I was talking about how a lot of us empaths, recovering people pleasers, have trouble sitting or experiencing the discomfort of other people because we do feel it in such a visceral way, in such a real way. It's very uncomfortable because we already have to deal with our emotions, and adding other people's emotions and feelings on top of that is very overwhelming. Anywho, I feel like the people who got the message were the people this video was meant for. I think a lot of people chose to misunderstand what I was trying to say. So I'm just coming out here to do a little part two to clarify a few things and also to add on to what I mentioned in my first video. Okay, first things first. So you're never the cause of someone else's reaction or someone else's discomfort or whatnot. People's reactions and feelings toward you have nothing to do with you and everything to do with them. I don't want to come across as arrogant thinking that I'm the cause of making people uncomfortable, but I do understand that I can be a trigger for someone to act a certain way, which only reflects really some internal insecurity or trauma or struggle that they're already dealing with that has nothing to do with me. That's the first thing I wanted to clarify. Second thing is, I'm not saying to go out of your way to make people uncomfortable. Why would I want to do that? As an empath, as someone who can feel someone else's discomfort, why would I actually go out of my way to make myself feel more uncomfortable? That does not make sense. We avoid people for that reason. I think a lot of people just chose to misunderstand the video. And honestly, those who get it. If this video did not resonate with you, it probably was not for you. You probably were not the target audience, and that's okay. But yeah, I'm not saying to go out of your way to make people uncomfortable. Obviously not. I'm saying be yourself, and being yourself unapologetically might trigger some people and might make them uncomfortable, and that's okay. So get comfortable with that. That's basically what I was saying. Again, I feel like most people understood what I was saying. I just want to clarify in case that wasn't super clear. I know the title can be misleading if you do not watch the video. So, anywho, second thing I want to touch base on that is kind of linked to the first point I'm making is obviously do not go out of your way to make people uncomfortable, especially if your safety is concerned. That goes out especially for women. I think it's important to be strategic sometimes with who you give your energy to. Use your discernment, right? If you are in a situation where you can sense that the person is making a point to misunderstand you or is making a point to be offended by you no matter what you do, if you can sense that this person can be maybe dangerous or is not all there, it's kind of unpredictable in their reactions, don't even bother. Like sometimes people are not worth it. Like sometimes just save your energy, babe. You really have nothing to prove. So I wouldn't even bother with those specific situations. So again, if your safety is concerned, save your light, save your energy, don't bother. But I was more specifically talking about instances where you kind of have to be there, and like at work or at a family function. You are gonna be around certain people in certain situations, and like sometimes you can't just run and leave. Sometimes you can, but I think if it's a safe environment, I think you should make it a point to stay in certain situations just to practice being yourself. This is a good segue for my next point, which is this will take practice. And I kind of briefly mentioned it in my last video, but this is not going to happen overnight. This is going to take work. This is not going to be easy. This will actually make you, drumroll, uncomfortable. It will physically be upsetting, but you have to do it regardless. Every time after you do it, you might feel a bit guilty at first because that's normal. You have years of conditioning to work on and years of behaviors to unlearn. So it is not going to feel natural. It's going to feel like you're doing something wrong. But the more you do it, the more you're going to get better at it. And the more you're going to feel proud of yourself. Whenever you stand up for yourself, whenever you are really being your most authentic self, even if you might at first feel guilty for it or feel a bit embarrassed in some way, there's gonna be this sense of accomplishment, of pride, and it's gonna feel so fucking great. You know what? That person was uncomfortable, but at least I was me. At least I didn't betray myself. At least I respected myself. So yeah, it's gonna take work. Don't expect it to be an overnight thing. Be patient with yourself. It is okay if you revert back to your old ways because it's gonna happen. Again, it's something that you have to train your mind for. You have to train yourself for. So the best way is is exposure therapy, like it's just doing it. Something I like to do a lot in those instances where you can sense the discomfort of others is first acknowledging it. Acknowledging, like, oh, okay, I feel uncomfortable because I think this person is feeling uncomfortable. That's the first step. The second step is to locate it in your body. For me, it's usually in my throat. Everything clenches up in my throat. Could be your stomach, could be anywhere, but just try to locate where the discomfort is in your body. So once you've acknowledged it, locate it in your body. And the third step is to observe it. Observe the discomfort in your body. Literally just like let it be. Don't try to control it, just acknowledge it. And instead of like holding onto it, let it kind of flow through you. Don't try to resist it, just let it be. So instead of immediately reacting to it and like doing something like shrinking myself or being a bit performative to make them feel better, I will just take a moment and sit with my discomfort and observe it, acknowledge it, and not resist it. And that in itself has helped me so much in those situations. And yeah, but let me know also if you guys would be interested in like me sharing some more practical tips and advice on how I deal with those situations and how I get more comfortable sitting with other people's discomfort. If you'd be interested, let me know in the comments. But yeah, just be patient with yourself. It's kind of like going to the gym. It's gonna suck at first. You're gonna suck at it too at first. It's gonna be physically painful and mentally painful as well. But the more you do it, the better you get at it. It doesn't necessarily get easier, but you get better at handling the situation. So be patient with yourself. Something else I wanted to touch base on is the whole sun analogy. I love that you guys love this sun analogy. But on the flip side of that, there's also moments where you don't want to shine your light. Sometimes it's cloudy outside. You know, the sun is still there, but it doesn't really feel like shining today. Doesn't make it any less of a star that it is. You can't see it, but it's still out there doing its thing. Sometimes the sun doesn't really feel like shining, and that's okay. And that's something else I really wanted to talk about is letting go of that need to be performative, because there will be some moments where you just don't feel your best, or sometimes you're just tired, especially if you're an empath. We get drained very easily by social interactions, by other people's energies. We need our alone time. Most of us are introverts. We need time alone to recharge. I've worked 10 years in customer service, so like when I'm out of there, I don't want to talk to nobody. I don't want to smile to nobody, because the whole day I was like,
Hi, welcome. Yes, how can I help you today?
after that, I'm done. After that, I'm done. I'm walking home. I do have my resting bitch face on. I am not smiling, and I'm not in a bad mood or anything. I'm not angry. I'm just like, I'm tired. I'm drained. I don't want to smile. I was activating those muscles all day. Let me relax them for a little bit. Sometimes you're just not going to be on, and that's okay. You have to stop being performative to make people feel better about themselves. Okay. Like someone said in the comments in the last video, we grown out here. We are. Like people can take care of themselves. If they think they did something wrong, then let them think they did something wrong. You can just say, like, no, I'm tired. And if they think there's something more, then let them. Okay, like I don't have time to baby you. I don't have time to coddle you. People need to be responsible for their own emotions. So let go of this need to be performative. The other day at work, I was feeling a bit under the weather. I'm dealing with seasonal allergies, which like this year, what's going on? Okay, like I don't know. I feel like it's getting worse every year. But anyway, so I was didn't want to be at work. I was tired. I've also kind of been losing a bit of motivation to be at work lately because it's not what I want to do. It's my day job. And especially since I started doing this and making videos, I feel like I found more of a fulfilling purpose, and like I want to be just doing that, but then like I have to go to work. So it's like I'm losing motivation. Anyways, all of those aspects combined made me just less on than usual. They're used to seeing me super smiley and like, super like, oh, hi, da, 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 um, I don't do all of that at work, but close. That's not the real me. I'm not like that all the time. I'm really just putting it on because I want to get paid. But that specific day, I was like, you know what? I'm not feeling it today. I don't want to be here right now. I'm tired. My allergies are kicking my ass. I'm not going to be disrespectful. I'm not going to be a bitch or anything, but I decided that I didn't want to be performative. So instead of being my usual bubbly self and like super smiley and just, making jokes and kikiing with everybody, I was just like more to myself, a bit more quiet, not really smiling or laughing as much, and just because I wanted to be honest and real with how I was feeling. I did not feel like being on that day, and that's okay. And people felt it. People could sense that something was different, but I made it a point. I was like using that as an exercise for me to show up authentically, which that day was tired, didn't want to be there, low energy. And a lot of my coworkers were asking me like, "Are you okay? Is everything okay?" And I was just like, "Yeah, I'm okay." I'm telling you, inside I wanted to be like, "No, I'm fine." It was hard. It was really hard, but I did it. It's gonna be uncomfortable. It's gonna feel unnatural. You might feel guilty, you might cringe, but you have to stand your ground. Okay, you have to. It's something that you need to do for yourself because nobody but you can advocate for you. Okay, you have to be responsible for how you show up authentically. Nobody is gonna come and be like, no, 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 no. Actually, that's not how she's feeling today. No, you have to be that person. This is not easy. This is not something that's going to come to you naturally. It's going to take work and you're going to have to do it as a daily practice. But again, the more you do it, the more you show up for yourself, the better you get at it. And this sense, this feeling of standing up for yourself, of standing in your authenticity, being true to yourself and to how you're feeling, that feeling is priceless. The last thing I wanted to talk about was the much dreaded purging phase. I had a lot of people in the comments. By the way, I loved reading all your comments. A lot of you guys were saying how you felt seen, but y'all made me feel seen. The fact that a lot of people feel this way is like, damn, okay, I'm not alone. It feels good to not be alone. And it feels reassuring, like I'm not crazy, that there's nothing wrong with me. I was very touched by a lot of your comments. I just loved reading the comments. I didn't get back to everybody, but just know that I read every single comment and I love y'all. I really love y'all. So thank you. But anyways, someone in the comments mentioned that they were afraid to show up authentically because if they did, they would be afraid that they would lose the people in their life. And that might happen. You might go through a purging phase. When you start showing up authentically, when you stop masking, when you stop performing for others, people in your environment, especially people who are not used to that version of you, which is the authentic you, are going to be like, what's going on? They're going to be a bit confused because they're not used to this version of you, this authentic version of you, and they might not like it because that's not what they're used to. They signed up for the other version that was more malleable, more agreeable, and so they might not like it. They might not like it. That's okay. That's okay because you can never be wrong for being your authentic self. If they don't like who you are authentically, they were simply not meant to be in your life in the first place. And yes, that also applies to family members or old friends. Anybody that does not or cannot accept you as who you are authentically does not need to be in your life, period. And that's why we call it a purging phase, because before you find your people, the people who are a vibrational match for your energy, for who you are, you're first gonna have to make space for them, right? Those people that you had in your life when you were not being your authentic self were a vibrational match for that version of you that was not your true self. So understand that these people were not meant to be in your life in the first place. There are people out there who want to find you, who want to be part of your life, who want to cherish you and love you and be in community with you. They're just waiting for you to shine your light. So this is not an easy process. You're kind of like grieving an old life. You're grieving people, surroundings that you were used to, but they no longer serve you. So, and it could be people that you lose, but it could also be like things in your life that change, that no longer align with your authentic self. You might lose your job. You might lose certain opportunities and you might be like, what the fuck is going on? But it's all because the universe is making space in your life for the things that are a match for who you truly are. So just trust the process. As long as you're being your authentic self, as long as you're shining your light, then you're doing it right. And just know that you can never be wrong being yourself. Ok mes amours, ok mes cocos, voilà tout pour la vidéo d'aujourd'hui. Merci d'avoir regardé ma vidéo. Moi c'est Sandrine and welcome to my digital playground. Da-da, da-da. Should I make a theme song? To my digital playground, my digital playground, my digital playground, my digital playground, my digital. Okay, let me stop playing. Love y'all. Mwah.